Hey, welcome people to another big session of some deep spit. So today's July 10th, 2023. What we're going to teach today is how to cope with tough life transitions. See, life is all about transitions, all about change, all about evolution. You are not going to be the same guy at 18 that you're going to be at 25, and you for sure not going to be the same guy at 25 that you are at 35. And understanding that principle that you will have to change and adapt with the times, it's very tough for a lot of people because a lot of people get good at one thing and then life kind of happens and they got to transition and they don't know how and where to start, how to process the emotions and feelings. And my goal today is to give you 3 reasons how you're going to be able to cope with the difficult transitions that happen in life, because it's just life, man. Life is all about change, and if you're not changing, you're dying. As the old adage says, if you're not adapting, you are dead. And so, in order for you to be able to be a biologically successful organism, which is AKA a human being, we gotta learn how to deal with the emotions of being able to transition. And see, the hardest things about transition, it's not even the actions of doing it, it's the mental framework of how you change over time. And a lot of people have a very difficult, like a lot of people you meet, they're actually stuck at like 15 and they just kind of mature into 45-year-old people who are still 15 mentally. That can't be you. You have to understand your transitions in time have to evolve as times are going. You have to be taking in new skills, meeting new people, trying new endeavors. Meeting just there's always a constant flux of change because nothing ever stays the same. Like history rhymes, but it's never the same dime. Or I think that's whatever the saying is. So number one, how to cope with life's tough transitions. You need to understand, day one is the hardest of any transition. One of the things I used to hate back in my football playing days was the first day of training camp, because the first day in training camp is the hardest day. See, you spend your whole summer BSing, enjoying, drinking, playing around, doing kind of lazy ass half workouts, not training with pads on, and then they say, okay, day one's here. We got 2 days, and you're like, damn. And those first days are literally the hardest, and it's not even the hardest because it's physically hard. It's hard because of mentally, because your day you went from being free for 12 hours out the day, do whatever you want, to now you're on a strict schedule of wake up at 5 o'clock, go to practice, hit the weight room, go eat, go to team meetings, go to lunch, then go to the second workout or second training or practice, get done, rest up, watch some film, and repeat that over again for 2 weeks. And that's your life. And so the first day is always the hardest. You see guys falling out, guys out of shape, guys throwing up. But you know what happens slowly over time? Eventually, you adapt. You hit a framework in mind where, look, this is just what I have to do. I have to show up. I have to do this at 5 o'clock. I got to go to training. I got to hit the weight room. I got to watch films. I got to do team meetings. I got to go eat at this specific time. I got to catch a rest when I can catch a rest. Go to my second workout. And eventually it becomes second nature to by the time you get to about halfway through the second week, you're like, oh, this is just easy. It doesn't even phase you anymore. The mental part is done. Now it's just going out there and doing the physical activity. And eventually by the second, third week, you actually get used to it and you begin to miss it. But then you start game time, and there's a whole new thing. So now you get the first game of the season. And see, that's the transition of how life is. There's always change. Every level that you go to, there's going to be progression. You have to understand, your day one of anything that you try to pursue that is new or novelty or whatever the hell you're trying to build, whether it be a business, get in the workout routine, start to read more, play chess, whatever skill you're trying to understand or build, the first day is always the hardest. So understand, you're not special in that particular reason of feeling those emotions. That comes to my second part, which is you're not special in your hardship. See, everybody tries to make this big old thing like, man, you don't understand what I did, what I suffered to get to where I get to. It's like, yes, we all know you had to suffer because we all have to suffer to get to where we want to get to. That's kind of how the game works. You're going to have to go through hardship. So when you begin to understand that your hardship is not necessarily special to anybody besides yourself, that like there's been millions of humans have gone through the same similar emotions, struggle, loss, depression, great highs, great lows. When you begin to understand that that's not special to you, it kind of makes you feel better because you were like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to feel. Like nobody tells you you should go into a business that you've never done before or go off in businesses on your own, maybe start this new job, start this new skill, and everything's going to be hunky-dory from the very beginning. Nobody ever tells you that. And they are telling you that, it's a lie. There's no such thing as a seamless, easy transition. You try to make it as seamless and easy as possible, but there's always going to be turbulence because you're walking into unknown territory. You're doing something that you've never done before, so you're going to stumble. You're going to fall a little bit. It's like a baby. If you ever watch a baby when he starts to walk, they fall the first 100 times before they even get up on their feet. And that's how you have to be with whatever you're doing. You're going to fall and stumble, whatever you do for the first time, but that's okay. That's the part of the process, part of the game. The point is, always keep getting up. And that comes to the next part, which is you only fail if you stop. Listen, in life, it is an infinite game that goes on forever. There is no stopping, there is no pause button. Every day, every minute, every second, you have to play. You got to thinking positive. You got to be thinking, how do I get to the next level? How do I get to the next step? You can never falter and let yourself fall into like a rut where you just say, I give up. Because as soon as you mentally snap it off and quit, the body falls. And this is you see this a lot in fighting. In fighting, you could tell when they say a fighter's his will is broken or his spirit's broken. You can see it out there where a guy's just like, he's just done struggling. He's looking for a way out. See, now here's the thing. You're not fighting. You're not in here in the cage getting hit in the face. You're probably running a business. You're probably starting a new job. You probably learn how to code. You're probably going through a trade school practice. You're not doing anything that's going to get you freaking wrecked physically. So when you understand that you're not going to get wrecked physically and like life is going to keep going on, dude, just keep going. Even if you put in one day where you just tried like barely and you barely just tried for like a minute, that minute that you put in is much better than you just say, I'm not doing anything for the day. And that's what the game is about, just never stopping. The more effort you put in, the more you work, the more you grind, the better your outcomes are going to be over time. But you know when your outcomes are never going to be great is when you just stop completely. Like if you just give up on the alphabet after C, well, guess what? You're never going to be able to learn D through Z. It doesn't work that way. Only way that you're going to learn the alphabet is if you keep going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so forth, Y, Z. If you do that every day. If you do that every day, I can assure you, you will learn the alphabet. It's inevitable. You would absolutely learn the alphabet. And this is how life is with just everything. Whether it be TV mounting, which is what I do, whether it be education, whether it be working out, training. If you show up and put a consistent effort every day, which is so obvious, and you never stop, you cannot help but get better. So the only way you lose in life is if you stop. Seriously, that's it. You can make a podcast right now today, and you can be terrible at talking. But guess what? If you talk, I guarantee if you keep talking in the microphone for 5 years and you give your best effort, you try your absolute best, you're going to have a subscriber. You'll have at least one subscriber. And that's better than the 0 subscribers you started off in the very beginning. So once again, this is how you're going to be able to cope with the tough life transitions. Understand day one is always the hardest. Just accept it. It's never going to get easier than after day one. I mean, it's never going to get harder past day one. You'll have hard days, but it will never be as hard as the first day you tried. Number two, you're not special in your hardship. Hardship is common to everyone who's trying to do anything that's big in life. If you're not experiencing hardship, that means you're playing an arena that's way too small and you got nobody to compete against. So you need to find a better arena, put yourself in the arena, compete against people, put yourself out there, and you'll be surprised at how far you can go. And understand, your hardship is just part of the story. That's what makes it fucking great. What's the fun of a story if you just cruise through and you win every single time? What's the fun? You got to have a little bit of losses. You got to have some struggle. Struggle breeds the best amongst us. Without struggle, there is no necessity to be better in life. And 3, you only fail if you stop. So don't stop. Keep going. The same way you listen to my YouTube videos, I need you to do the same thing out there in your life. Don't stop doing whatever you're doing. Because I promise you, no matter what you do, if you never stop, you're going to be successful. And it's just inevitable. If you want to learn more, book a time at apexapn.com. We're starting to do coaching consultation. I'm starting to build a coaching package for you guys. A 12-week program to help you rearrange your brain, get you thinking better, get you making better outcomes, and getting better situations in the future for yourself. Appreciate you guys. Talk soon.